Folks, we are taking the part 6 video of this exercise 13.1 and we are starting right away with the problem number 30, where they give us a breakup function at the point x equal to 0, x less than 0 there is a particular definition, x greater than 0 there is another definition, and at x equal to 0 it's a different definition. And they ask us to find out where all the limit is existing. On the entire real number line, we should find out the places where the limit is going to exist. So what we will do is, for our convenience, because the function is defined like this, we will divide the problem into 3 parts and cases or parts where we will find out whether it is okay at x equal to 0, whether it is defined or not. If it is defined, then what is the limit value. Then we will check at x less than 0 whether it is okay, whether it is defined, and if it's defined, what's the value. At x greater than 0 whether it is defined and it's defined, what's the value, like that. So that's how we are going to find it. So we'll do it gradually. We'll take first the part 1. Part 1, we are going to take the case where x equal to 0 to check if limit is existing, to check if limit exists, right? So automatically we will take the left limit is limit as x tends to 0 minus 0 from the left side, f of x. So on this side the function is defined as modulus of x plus 1, and on this side the function is defined as modulus of x minus 1. So here the definition that you're going to take is modulus of x plus 1, and on the negative side of 0 we know that the modulus of x is minus x. So actually saying the value is minus x plus 1. Then when we substitute x as 0, you get the value as 1. And therefore what's the right limit? Let's take the right limit. It is limit as x tends to 0 from the right side f of x, which is limit as x tends to 0 from the right hand side modulus of x minus 1, and modulus of x on the right side of 0, which is positive side, is going to be just x. So x minus 1 means you can substitute, so it will come to minus 1. Left limit is coming as 1, but the right limit is coming as minus 1. That's not okay for a limit. Sorry. Sorry. Since the left limit is not equal to the right limit, sorry, therefore limit as x tends to 0 f of x does not exist. Okay, so 0 is a trouble giving point where we are not getting the limit. Part 2, let's take where x is greater than 0. So we are checking the limit. So x is greater than 0, limit let, so see, it's very difficult to call x every time, so let there be some a which is positive. So therefore consider limit as x tends to a f of x. That means we are taking on the positive side any value of a. Can be 5, a can be 2, a can be 10, a can be 20, a can be 10,000, a can be 5,000, whatever, some a, right, which is positive. So limit as x tends to a, but f of x in the positive side it's defined as modulus of x minus 1, and on the positive side modulus of x is going to be like x itself, so it's like x minus 1. On substitution it is a minus 1. There is a limit, it is a minus 1. So limit exists, therefore limit exists. It is always a minus 1. That means if it is x, if you are taking the value like x tends to 1000, then your answer will be 999. If you are taking x tends to 25, your answer will be 24, like that. So then the part 3, where you are taking the x value less than 0, and for our limiting requirements we are taking some a which is less than 0. So consider some limit as x tends to a f of x, and this is a negative value. So when we choose our limit function, it is this modulus of x plus 1. On the negative side the modulus will be always minus, so it's like minus x plus 1. So again it's minus a plus 1, or rather it is 1 minus a. Limit exists, right? So therefore we can conclude that limit for this function exists everywhere on R except at x equal to 0. Except at 0, don't write x equal to 0, let's have except at 0. Okay, so that's what we conclude. Then we move to the 31st problem. They say that limit as x tends to 1 f of x minus 2 by x squared minus 1 is pi. We have to find what is limit as x tends to 1 f of x. Let's start right away. Given that limit as x tends to 1 f of x minus 2 by x squared minus 1 is pi. Now you can always write it as limit as x tends to 1 f of x minus 2 by limit as x tends to 1 x squared minus 1 equal to pi. Right, you can break it up between numerator and denominator. And for our convenience, let's push that function there. So get limit as x tends to 1 f of x minus 2 equal to pi times limit as x tends to 1 x squared minus 1. Right, I hope it's clear, pi times. So when we break up the limit, how it will come? Limit as x tends to 1 f of x minus limit as x tends to 1 2, and here it is pi times limit as x tends to 1 x squared limit as x tends to 1 1. What will come? Limit as x tends to 1 f of x. Now this, when there is no x, that limit will not apply and only 2 will remain. Here pi, then x tends to 1, that means 1 squared, so it's 1. And here because there is no x, limit will not apply and only 1 will stay. So what will happen? It will become pi into 0 actually. So what will happen? You will get therefore limit as x tends to 1 f of x minus 2 is becoming 0. Right. So what will happen? This 2 can go on the other side. We will get limit as x tends to 1 f of x equal to 2. And that's what they have asked us. So what we did is intelligently we have taken this denominator on the other side. If we have kept it here, if you would have kept it here, it was a headache for us. Why? Because it was giving 0 in the denominator. We don't desire. 0 in the denominator doesn't lead us anywhere. So we just intelligently push it on the other side and from there we work. So that's about it. Once we are done with that, we are moving to the 32nd problem. And 32nd problem is like that A-B problem, where they have given us this m and n which are unknowns, and they ask us to find out the value of m and n, and they tell us that limit as x tends to 0 and limit as x tends to 1 exists. On the basis of that, we should find out what is the value. Let us understand the function. Function at 0, at 1. These are values x less than 0. The function is defined as mx squared plus n. Between 0 and 1, the function is defined as nx plus n. And between greater than 1, the function is defined as nx cube plus n. Right. So, for limit as x tends to 0 f of x. So, automatically we are going to take the left and right limits. So, left limit. Left limit is limit of x from the negative side of 0 is by value, by function's value mx squared plus n, which when we substitute x tending to 0 means when we substitute, I think we will get m into 0 plus n, which is just n, and its right limit will be limit as x tends to 0 plus, that means from the right side of 0. So it is like limit as x tends to 0, from the right side it is nx plus m. So on substitution it will work out as just m. What will happen? Because the limit exists, since the limit exists, so therefore left limit is equal to right limit. Right. That way we will get m equal to n. One relation we have got, that m is equal to n. Now we have to take limit as x tends to 1 f of x, and let's see whether it is going to help us with some values. So for limit as x tends to 1 f of x. Yeah, we will take the left limit. Limit as x tends to 1, the left side of 1 f of x. In the left side of 1, the function is defined as, left side of 1, it's defined as nx plus m. So on substitution, n times 1 plus m, which means n plus m. And the right limit, which is limit as x tends to 1 plus, x tends to 1, on the right side of 1, it is nx cube plus m. Nx cube plus m, where we substitute the values, n into 1, so that will come as n plus m. Again same thing, since limit exists, so therefore left limit is equal to right limit, m plus n equal to m plus n, doesn't give anything. N plus n equal to m plus n absolutely doesn't give anything. Only thing what we could do is, because we know previously m is equal to n, we could substitute the values, m plus m, m plus m, 2m equal to 2m, it really doesn't give you much. So you are not able to decide much. So you can say that here does not give a decisive value, so therefore m comma n belongs to z integers and m equal to n. We can only conclude this much, that m and n are some integers and it is equal. So that's about this problem, and with this we finish the exercise 13.1. with more problems are coming in the next exercise. Thank you.